There are endless product ideas, niche opportunities that you can go into on Etsy when you start for the first time. But in this video, I'm going to be highlighting some really hot, undersaturated, pretty much untouched niches or spaces that you could capitalize on in 2025 if you're somebody that's interested in starting on the Etsy platform for the first time. These shop ideas that I'm sharing with you are all based around data. So shop ideas, niche ideas that have opened within a year that are pushing the most sales in a short amount of time. That's how we ultimately validate if a niche is working or not. If you're trying to go into a brand new niche that you really don't know anything about, if you can't validate that idea with other competition that is pushing a good amount of sales in a short amount of time, that's usually a red flag. Competition is ultimately a good thing, and we want to find people out there that are pushing a lot of sales in, like I said, a short amount of time, which again, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. Additionally, we're going to be covering different ways that you can win and build a legitimate strategy if you're somebody that actually wants to capitalize on some of these opportunities or go into a parallel niche or start a store in a similar space. Because at the end of the day, an idea is all an idea. Nothing actually matters unless it's being executed on. So much about business is about execution. It's not about you having the $1 million idea that's curing cancer. It really comes down to your work ethic and actually keeping yourself accountable to doing the actual action that comes next. So with that being said, let's get into it. Also, really exciting news real quick. On January 7th, I'm launching an entire free Etsy course on 2025 success. This Etsy course is going to take you through every stage of your business, from ideation, niche selection, competitor analysis, listing optimization, SEO, imagery, videography, and of course, scaling. So if you are somebody that is really looking to scale in 2025, this entire free course is going to be for you. So make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because that video is going to be airing as a premiere video on January 7th at the start of the new year, after your holidays, and you're ready to crush your 2025 goals. All right, so let's not delay anymore. Let's get into the video. First of all, when it comes to analyzing niche opportunities, like I said, what we want to find are products or shops that are relatively new, pushing a lot of sales for a short amount of time. So I personally really like the top sellers on Etsy tool inside of eRank. And so I just go in here and I basically turn that time period to when the shop opened to 2024, which is the latest time period. And I'm looking for niches or categories here on the side. And then I'm sorting it by who's selling the most. And I'm analyzing those top sellers. So obviously I'm going to blur out the store's names to protect, the seller's IP. But if you want to do this own research for yourself, you can go ahead, sign up for eRank, or just again, look for shops that opened in 2024 that are pushing a good amount of sales volume in a short amount of time. And normally you can see when a shop opened, either it will actually show it at the bottom of someone's shop, or you can see it by sorting their reviews and going to when their first review came in and looking at that date. One other thing I just want to mention here is that when it comes to choosing your niche or choosing your business that you're going to go into, the winning in doing this exercise that I'm showing you here is to run the numbers, make some projections, even if they're just projections, because what that's going to do is when you ultimately decide on the business opportunity or the niche that you want to go into, those are the numbers or the KPIs that are going to keep you accountable for you to try to hit your goal. So you're going to see in this exercise, if we analyze a shop that's projected $100,000 in the first calendar year, and that shop has, 80 listings, then that becomes a key performance indicator or a KPI or a metric that holds us accountable to what some of the actions that we need to do when we launch our shops. Because when we do competitor analysis, we're looking at all of these shops as opportunities, not as standards. They're an opportunity to compete and do things better. And that's what we're looking for in this exercise. And then, like I said, ultimately what is winning? What's winning is when we decide what card we want to pick up, because the reality is when you want to start a business, we're super excited. We have all this motivation. We see the opportunity. We're excited by the opportunity. What's winning is weighing out the pros and cons of all these different opportunities and ultimately picking up a single card. So what's not winning is trying to open multiple shops at the same time, trying to do Shopify and Etsy at the same time, trying to do completely different product lines for the first time. A lot of times this is probably the most amateur mistake that any new entrepreneur entrepreneur can make. We think that we're like an octopus and we have not 2 hands, we have like 8 arms. We think that we can do multitask and do multiple things at the same time. But the reality is there is a whole new set of skills that you're probably going to have to acquire. So it's better for you to master one thing before opening up a second shop, before doing social media, before doing another sales channel like Shopify or Amazon. So in this video, I'm showing you how you're going to educate yourself. Once you educate yourself, you pick the one thing that aligns with you most that you could see yourself doing for a long time. And then we keep a blind eye to any other business venture. I speak directly from experience on this because if you try to do multiple things at once, all you're gonna do is create a lot more problems, a lot more anxiety for yourself, and you're gonna have a bunch of half-broken businesses instead of ultimately mastering one thing before moving to another. The first product opportunity is print-on-demand personalized notebooks. So I found a shop in here. Again, we're blurring out the names. We're gonna even blur out, the titles and stuff like that just to protect the seller, because you can go in and do this research for yourself. I don't want to publicly oust any other entrepreneurs, but I'm just giving you the high level of what's going on with these shops. All right, so this shop is 11 months old. It has 99 active listings. It's done over 7,000 sales. And from the looks of it, they're doing print-on-demand notebooks. So print-on-demand is a drop shipping platform. This one is particularly using Printify, where essentially every time they get an order, Printify is fulfilling the order for you. So you don't actually touch the product. You get an order on Etsy, and then that order gets pushed to your Printify account, and Printify fulfills that order. And what you're supplying is the design of that notebook and the personalization request. So of course, Printify is the top POD platform for this. You can see the notebook here. And with Printify Premium, you can print these notebooks for $6.84. And so I actually have a completely free Chrome extension that you can download, and it's a free pricing calculator. You don't even need a login. It's our Profit Tree Chrome extension, which basically you can run your profit numbers. So in here, you can go ahead and put the sale price, which it looks like their sale price is around $18. They're charging around $5.90 for shipping. And then you can go in and put that $6.84 cost of goods sold, and the estimated shipping on Printify says it's about $4.40. And it looks like with these notebooks, they're clearing about a 50% profit margin at that $18 price point. So if we run some estimated numbers based off their sales, in 11 months, they did probably around $60,000, $63,000 profit before you factor in marketing costs, ad spend, if they spent any money on ads, which they probably did. But $63,000 profit in your first year in business, less than your first year in business, even if you haven't factored in ad spend yet, that's still extremely good. And I think that's something that people don't realize, that, if you were to go out and start an offline business tomorrow, you are not going to be profitable in the first 11 months. There's a lot more money invested, a lot more time invested if you're going to build an offline store versus drop shipping or using a print-on-demand provider like Printify, where you literally have no overhead. You're not actually paying for the product until it's sold. So that's absolutely amazing. Some things that I would do differently. So this shop is only at about 100 listings, and because it's print-on-demand, I would probably quickly turn that 100 listings into 500 listings. They are doing personalization. So all of the notebooks have a personalization request. Person can put in their name or different types of personalization. And of course, for this, I would use a tool called Hello Custom. So Hello Custom integrates with your Printify account and your Etsy store, where essentially that personalization process will get automated. So instead of you manually having to go in there and do the personalization request, Hello Custom is going to do that for you automatically and then push your order to Printify. And then you basically don't have to do anything. You just have to approve or deny that personalization request. So obviously Hello Custom is the leading tool for this. So if you guys want to check out Printify or Hello Custom, of course, links are in the description. I just was really surprised by this product opportunity because, as you know, I don't do print on demand. I wish I got into print on demand a lot earlier, but I'm still surprised that this model actually worked. And this was actually one of the first ones that came up when I was doing the research for this video. So I'm actually truly impressed. And that's a huge opportunity, especially because they're only at 100 listings and it's pretty easy to get hundreds of listings when it's a print on demand shop. Not like what we do where we have to do a physical photo shoot and all that stuff. And it's just a much lengthier process to getting new products to market. Of course, other recommendations with this, at a 50% profit margin percentage, there's a lot of room for margin there, which means there is a lot of room to scale with ads. So I would give, 10 to 15% to my best-selling listings for Etsy ads, and I would bake that marketing cost percentage into my Etsy ads. I have a full free course on Etsy ads below this video as well that just goes through how to scale your business with Etsy ads when you're ready for it. So make sure you sign up for that down below as well. The next idea was a really cool concept, which is basically like a surprise gifts. So the idea I found specifically was surprise gift books. So it was like cutely packaged books, and you don't know what the book is basically. And this shop particularly has sold over 11,000 sales, and it's only 9 months old. So they're basically getting a whole bunch of books, wrapping them really cute, and people are ordering them and have no idea what book they're getting, but it's just a really cute and fun gift idea. So I kind of did an estimate of their numbers. Their average sale price looked to be around $20. So $20 times the 11,000 sales, that's over $200,000 in revenue in less than 9 months, which again, for your first year in business, that is absolutely insane. Now, to not totally rip this concept, I went into GPT and ran the prompt. I found this personalized booked gift idea on Etsy. What are some parallel spaces that I could do this in that are slightly different? And of course, ChatGPT gave me back a bunch of really, really cool ideas. So as you can see here, mystery craft gifts, blind date with art. I really, really like the idea of doing blind date things. You basically would open a book or a page in a book, or you pull something out of a jar and then it tells you what date you have to actually go on. Like all of that stuff does really, really well if you brand it really cute. Surprise stationery set, mystery tea and coffee bundles, mystery jewelry pieces. This actually, I used to do that. That works really well. Personalized mystery gifts, blind date with a puzzle. So mystery puzzle. So you can see how there's a whole bunch of parallels that you could do without completely just copying somebody else. That's kind of how I go about my ideation with everything. And what's really crazy again with this shop is they only have 14 listings. So imagine if you did 30 listings, or God forbid you did 100 listings of something like this. This could get really interesting really fast. The next one is niche animal accessories. So what does that mean? So I found a shop here that is specifically making aquarium houses, and it looks like they're 3D printing these, or they're either private labeling them from somewhere overseas, which is something that I talk about a lot on this channel. So if you don't want to go out and buy the 3D printer or whatever equipment you need to actually make this thing, then you can actually do something called private labeling, which is allowed on Etsy as long as you are the sole designer of that product. So you created the mock-up, you created the design, and you sent that to a manufacturer and they produced the product for you, which now manufacturing private labeling is so much more easier than it ever has been before. You can probably find a manufacturer, production partner for almost anything. The hardest part of it is always just nailing that relationship and getting that production partner. But I know we don't love things like Alibaba, but if you go on Alibaba, you can pretty much source a manufacturer that can make almost anything for you. You can literally draw a picture of something, and if that manufacturer has the machinery to do it, they can take your hand-drawn image and make almost anything you want. That is where we are now and moving into 2025. And I know that because I've had so many different types of businesses work out and some businesses fail, whether it was bathing suits, jewelry, home decor, fabrics. I've sourced many different types of materials and actually finished products overseas. And it's definitely a little bit more of a cash investment. But if you do nail a really good production partner, and it doesn't always have to be in China, by the way, it can be a really beautiful relationship and actually mean for a really great business. I put here niche animal accessories because, there's so many niche, guess you could call it, animals that people are just obsessed with that need accessories, toys, houses, treats, collars, stands, all different types of things. So I kind of did the same thing that I did with the previous one, and I went to ChatGPT and I also gave it that prompt. Well, first we asked it about 3D printers. So we said best 3D printers for printing plastic houses for aquarium animals. It gave me some ideas on that, some pricing estimations. Then we took it a step further and said, what are other niche animal products like this I could sell on Etsy that people would love? It gave me back more about aquariums, pet themed decor, pet enrichment toys, puzzle feeders, laser engraved tags, 3D custom houses, bird feeders, climbing platforms. There's so many different things that you can do that I promise you, with not searching that hard, you can find these production partners overseas. And looking at, for something like this, you probably could get this in the US with your own custom designs, with your own custom logo imprinted on the product, probably for less than $4 if it's my guess. And usually for small parcel items like this, the most expensive thing is actually the shipping. It's not even the product. But I have more videos in my channel on production partners, how to negotiate, what questions to ask, how to not get scammed, all of that stuff inside of my YouTube channel. I can also link that video below. I'd just like to also mention here, if overseas really scares you, not your thing, another really good place to land production partners that's super overlooked is farmers markets. And this is actually something that I didn't do, but I considered heavily. So a lot of times people that sell physically at farmers markets, they sell there because they don't understand the concept of online marketing. Now, this is not an absolute statement. I'm not saying all people that sell at markets don't know how to sell online, but a lot of times the reasons people will sell at physical markets versus just on Etsy is because they don't understand the concept of profit margins and marketing and imagery and all of that stuff, or online sales. And that's why they resort to markets. So a lot of times you can find hidden gems in these markets. And why I bring it up here at this part of the video is because a lot of people at markets like to sell animal products, whether it's handmade toys or treats or custom images of animals. If you're that really business mindset person that is looking for a product opportunity, but you have a product problem, meaning you're not the master of any one niche, or you don't really know how to develop a product, a lot of times some of the best partnerships in business are when you're the business guy and then there's somebody that's just the visionary product person that's obsessed with their product. They just have no real good business sense on how to bring that product to market and actually build like a super profitable business out of it. So don't overlook a business partnership if that is the case, because business partnerships tend to work out really, really nice when both partners are completely opposite and they bring different values. One person is the business, numbers, marketing guy, online space, and the other person is solely product visionary, pumping out new products all the time. Number 4 is digital sewing and crochet patterns. So this shop in particular is just selling the actual design to make the embroidery. So they're only 8 months old. They've had over 17,000 sales. Now, their average order value looked to be anywhere from really cheap to $2 to selling bundles up to $20. So I just try to make a worst case AOV of $5, and that's about an $85,000 revenue in less than 8 months before marketing. Now, again, we're just trying to make projections even though we don't know these numbers, but the reason why is because if we want to go into a parallel space, we can use these numbers as benchmarks of what we're trying to achieve with our personal shop in the same time period. I really, really like this concept because digital downloads, you don't touch the product, which means that you have no product costs, which means your profit margins are larger. And a lot of times a big misconception with digital downloads selling low ticket is that they're not profitable with ads because their sale price is so low. And this is actually not true. These are actually some of the best shops to scale your ads budget to the max budget allowance. And it's easy to scale because there's no fulfillment on the back end because you're selling a digital asset. So again, if you want to watch that full free course on Etsy ads, that link is in the description. Now, again, I cannot put more emphasis on this. If you are someone that's not fundamentally knows anything about sewing, anything about patterns, how could you get into this space? So I can only give you examples or case studies from my own experience. So the same way that our home decor brand found our seamstresses, even though we did teach ourselves how to sew, eventually we removed ourselves from the sewing and we actually had to hire seamstresses. So we basically, to find these seamstresses, we put out an Indeed ad online to hire seamstresses to help us sew in our office. Now, people that have fundamentally been sewing their whole lives, a little hint here, in most cases, not only do they know how to make patterns, if they've been sewing their whole life, they have really mastered the skill of sewing, and that's usually really all they're good at. They're not good at the business side of things. They're really like that product person, and they're really proud of what they do. A lot of them know how to make patterns, or they have bought patterns in the past and know how to alter them to make them their own. And I know this from experience because my first product that I ever tried to launch was bathing suits, and I did that same process of trying to find a seamstress to help me sew bathing suits. And looking back, I probably shouldn't have sewed bathing suits. I should have sold the digital assets of the pattern of the bathing suits, because that does really, really well. And there's actually no fulfillment because you're just selling the digital asset. And again, all this being said is that a lot of times those dream partners are the people that are all they do all day is focus on product. And so they become, almost the dream partner because they can really master their craft and just be visionaries and design all day long while you do the business side of things. And finally, number 5 is print on demand phone cases. So again, this one really surprised me. So 10 months old, only 332 listings. This is again a print on demand shop. It looks like they're using the Printify phone case. They've done over 4,400 sales in 10 months. And when we use that Profit Tree Chrome extension, we looked at what the costs were in Printify for the shipping and the actual product cost for this. And when we ran the numbers, they were making, on these like $20 phone cases, it looks like their sale price is around $20. After you factor in shipping, the fees, the listing fee, the merchant fee, all that stuff, they're clearing about a 50% profit margin. So that brings us to around $39,000 profit before ads. But even if 20,000 of that went to ads and they only made around $19,000. Again, for only being 10 months old and for being a print on demand store that virtually it didn't cost you any money to start this business, that is absolutely amazing for your first 10 months in business. What I really like about this is they really mastered the art of the image and the design. So that's what's really killing it for them, is their mock-ups are absolutely beautiful and their designs. They've mastered really, really beautiful designs. And if you need inspiration for how to make and build winning designs, a really good place to look at creative imagery is on Pinterest, because Pinterest is naturally going to show you what is in trend. If you typed in trending phone cases, Pinterest is a really good place to do that research. Also, obviously on Etsy as well. But if we want to, go off of Etsy and see what else is out there, Pinterest, other trendy, stores like Anthropologie, stuff like that, we like to look at what, these top brands are doing as well. This can help us get inspiration. Another thing that I would really do in this shop is I would start cross niching. So we would not launch doing phone cases and shirts and hoodies, but, surely after 300 listings, you would probably start finding some of your best-selling designs on the phone case, which then could probably manifest into putting that on a mug or a candle or a print-on-demand shirt or hoodie, and start cross-niching those designs over into a new product line. Now, again, I don't recommend doing that at the launch. At the launch, I say focus on one product opportunity, but in the print-on-demand space, eventually, as you get a proof of concept, you get some healthy cash flow going, start scaling with ads, then there is a point where you're ready to actually start going into different product lines. And I feel like that comes once you already have gained momentum. So with this shop, I would say they are ready. Around 4,000 sales. They've definitely proven that they know how to make designs that sell. They know how to put them on mockups that sell, all that stuff. Now this shop particularly would be ready to start cross-niching into other product categories. Overall, guys, those are some 5 niche ideas for 2025 on Etsy. Hopefully, if you don't like any of these ideas, at least you see what I'm looking at, what I'm paying attention to when I'm doing my research and how to do the research, and what I personally think is important. All of the resources are going to be down below, whether it's the free Chrome extension, the free ads course, my other Etsy video, Hello Custom, Printify, all of those resources are down below for you. And remember, on January 7th, we have an entire free Etsy course going live. So subscribe to the channel and hopefully I will see you there. Bye, guys.